Hello, welcome to Caesar Snack Sandwich. Today I have a really quick video for you on the sailing protocol. Now the sailing protocol is a place where you can buy and sell stocks. You can come here and go to search and you can see through all the stocks that they currently already have listed, and you can kind of buy and sell these tokenized stocks. This protocol is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past, and I'm pretty interested in this because it is real world assets and it can bring a lot of people to DeFi if they find this to be useful, and this is a successful product. So as you can see, there are stocks, there are some ETFs and so forth. So you can come and check out the stocks in here, see if anything's interested to you. Now, of course, they are also deployed on several chains, as you can see. Now, I'm not sure if all of the chains have the ability to actually mint these, but I think some of them don't. So you can only mint on certain chains, but you have access to the to payment on many chains and so forth. So as you can see, there are quite a few chains, even this Bitcoin root stock and base and OP and stuff like that. And this thing was brought to me because they are considering to deploy on IOTA, or actually they will deploy on IOTA, and they're considering to provide some liquidity on Velocimeter. So you might see some of the tokens from the system in the Velocimeter with gauges and rewards and so forth. So as always, I have read through the docs. The docs is a little bit lacking, but it's not terrible. It's a pretty quick read, so I would suggest you to come and read through the docs yourself, verify what I'm saying here, make sure you understand it. But I do have a flowchart for you to explain how this system works based on my understanding. So let's swing over to the flowchart right now. Okay, so here we are on the flowchart. We have dollar bill. He has some USDC or USDT, depending on the chain and so forth, or DAI. But in this case, he has USDC and he wants to buy some stocks, so he goes to the sailing protocol, okay? So he buys some stocks. So he puts the USDC into the sailing protocol and he mints some stocks, right? So in this case, he mints Apple stocks, tokenized Apple stocks. Now, what makes this special is all the accounting is being done on the blockchain. There's no centralized server that needs to keep track of who's got what, and it's not a bank who's you have to call them up and stuff. Everything happens on the blockchain. It's instant, it's transparent, and it's immutable because everything is in the blockchain, right? So moving on. So what happens next? What does the protocol, the sailing protocol, do? Is they actually go and buy the stocks. So this is something, these are not derivatives, these are not price feed tokens, these are actual, they actually use the money to buy the stocks. Now I assume that they have a treasury of a bunch of capital to kind of pre-do things and to kind of fund things that are going to happen, and you'll see in the case why this is probably a must, okay? So first of all, let's say dollar bill comes at 3 in the morning and the stock exchange is closed, right? So he can still mint. It's instant. It's 24/7, 7 days a week, because it's blockchain. So he can mint his Apple stock. So, but what the sailing protocol will do is it will wait until opening clock and then immediately buy the stock that is needed. So in this case, it will actually go and buy that Apple stock when the time opens. Now they do have access to the institutional extended hours, so they can be the first one to buy or so forth. There might be a little bit of risk in there, and they might be managing that risk like a little bit, but know that they have access to extended hours, so they can buy and sell before the retail and the normal users can do so in that stock exchange. But dollar bill has access to this 24/7. He can buy some stocks, he can mint them, and he can redeem them back to USDC. Now, the other option, the other possibility here is he can buy partial stocks. So let's say Apple stock is worth, I don't know, let's say $200 right now. I'm not sure what it's worth, but maybe something like that. So it's $200, but let's say he only has 100 USDC. So he will put 100 USDC into the protocol and he will get minted 0.5 tokens of Apple stock. And what the sailing protocol will do is it will actually still buy a whole stock and hold and be ready when someone else comes along to buy the other half. So you can buy partials and you can sell partials, and they will just kind of cover the rest that is needed to actually trade on the stock exchange in full stocks, right? Moving on, some of these stocks do give dividends, and the dividends here are quite good because they can give them to people based on the token holdings. So because it's on the blockchain, it's transparent. It's easy for them to access who do they owe dividends to, and then Dollar Bill will just have to go and claim his dividends once in a while. Now these dividends can also be like claimable by Dollar Bill if he has put his stock into his tokenized stock into some sort of smart contract. So they can check the smart contract and be like, oh, Dollar Bill's the owner of 2 of those stocks. We should give him 2 stocks worth of dividends, right? So he will go and claim those. Moving on, there is a token. This is a DeFi protocol, and most DeFi protocols have a token. So this protocol does have a token of itself as well. Now the token does several things. First of all, it reduces the fees and stuff that the protocol takes. So the first fee it does is it reduces the minting fee from 0.01 to 0.04. So the more you hold, the less fees you will pay to mint stocks, right? So there's a chart inside the docs. You can go and check that chart, and you can see all those fees, the chart fees of how many of these tokens you need to hold in order to get to the lowest tier of those fees. The other thing is they take a performance fee on the dividends. They keep some of those dividends. So if you have a dividend stock, it's probably a good idea to hold some of these sale tokens to reduce the fees that they are taking from your dividends. So to give you the full share of your dividends, okay, or almost the full share. So from 1 to 20% is what they take. So that's the first kind of use case for this sale token, is to reduce these fees. Moving on, they talk about asset listing. If grandma wants to list her asset she has some business or something, she wants to list her asset on the protocol, then she has to bond some sale tokens. And based on the things she does, if she does some malicious stuff, her bond will be slashed, she will lose her sale tokens, and so forth. Now, this is something that she would have to reach out to them to do. It's not something that's permissionless. They would probably get her to do some KYC, do some DD on her, and so forth. And it doesn't clearly say whether or not it's going to be an IPO or not, whether they're actually going to help her to put her business on the actual stock exchange, or whether or not it's just kind of like a quasi-tokenized version of this. So that's something, if you are grandma and you want to know, then you can dig deeper, you can go ask them and find out more about that. Moving on, something you can do with the tokenized asset or the tokenized stock is you can go to Uniswap and you can sell it, okay? So maybe the trading fee is better on Uniswap to sell it, or what have you, or whatever the case may be. And as I mentioned, there might be gauges on Velocimeter where you can farm APR with that. Now, as I said before, if the dividends are able to look at smart contracts and you're providing liquidity, then you're getting APR, and you're probably going to be able to get your dividends as well. Again, wait for that to be live, ask questions, find out if that's actually the case when you want to do that or not. The last case we have for this token is the arbitrage bots. Now, I mentioned before that this doesn't use oracles, it doesn't use price feeds. There has to be some price feed inside the protocol that knows like how much Apple stock works, but the price of the token inside the market and inside here is affected by arbitrage bots, right? So the arbitrage bot can kind of look at the cost to mint and the cost to sell on here and do an arb between these LPs and the actual mint and redeem function on this. So in order for him to be more competitive, he's going to want to reduce his fees. So he is going to hold more sale tokens in order to do that. Okay, so that's pretty much it for today. I hope this has been useful and interesting. I find it to be pretty cool because it is bringing stocks back on chain. It's been a long time since we've seen stocks on chain, and they were always very synthetic and just derivatives. These are actually stocks backed by stocks. I did ask them a question about what happens if there's a hack or some problem. You're saying this is backed. How can I actually get my stock? And they said, there is a process where you can KYC. Dollar Bill can KYC himself, and then he can actually get those real stocks sent to him from the broker, because he actually, you know, they can take a snapshot of the blockchain. It's transparent, it's immutable, it's there. They can take a snapshot and be like, oh, this wallet is owned by a dollar bill. Dollar bill proves that, and he can then redeem for those stocks, those actual stocks. So take a little, I hope this is useful and interesting. Take some more looks yourself, and thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.